Hey kids, you're about to listen to a comedy podcast, see? That means that none of this is medical advice, okay? So if you need medical advice or medical care, please contact your doctor.
Welcome to the Jock podcast featuring Dr. London Smith. Can you smell what the Jock is cooking?
Nope.
Me neither. Introducing your host, Dr. London Smith.
Hello, and welcome to the Jock podcast, where we discuss fitness and health and how to incorporate our modern understanding of science and medicine into our daily lives, but without it being so boring. I'm your host, drlondonsmith.com. I would like to begin by apologizing to our listeners. We have received some feedback about the excessive amount of technical medical terms that I've been using, such as angular stomatitis and pizzazz. So I will try to temper my terminology to a simpler one in the future. Here to help with that is our producer, Cameron.
Oh, hey. What's up?
Hey, you sound kind of, I don't know, did you just wake up or?
No, I didn't just wake up.
It's
It's just sort of like, this is kind of who I am now. I guess you haven't seen me in the last few days, so you probably don't know that I became goth between the last time I saw you and now. I'm goth now. Cameron's goth.
Okay. Well,
and so I'm kind of, not like over it, because that's more like a sarcastic type thing, which I'm not into. It's just more like I don't care, because like I don't care about, because like what's the point? And like I have a lot more like vocal fry, like when I talk.
Yeah. So you know that goths traditionally will wear dark clothing and like dark makeup and black makeup.
That's why I'm wearing
full clown attire.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you notice, like the colors of the clown outfit are kind of a darker blue, and that's the darkest item of clothing I have. Because almost everything else I own is either white or, sort of like a bright or a pastel kind of color. So I kind of had to settle for the clown outfit, and then I had to make the makeup match. But yeah, so that's me.
Just, to me, the image is a little jarring because, like, I get the tone that you're putting out. And whenever you said, this is the new me, I thought you meant, like, you were going to be an entertainer and go to kids' parties. No,
because I don't really understand the point of entertaining when all it's doing is masking people's pain and masking kind of the, like, real messed up stuff that's going on in this world. That's what entertainment is, man. I mean, is that what you want me to be? You want me to be like a fun, like, hippie guy because you can't accept me for who I am?
Okay, you're saying this, but you're also juggling bowling ball pins at the same time. And I see you're doing the balloon animals as well.
Yeah. Yeah, but look at the animal. What's the animal, Dr. London? What is it?
Is it a snake or is it a worm?
It's a worm, the most goth of animals.
Okay, is this just because you don't know how to, like, make a balloon animal?
Nah, man. It's a worm.
Okay.
It's the most goth animals that exist. Dude. Why don't you get off my back, bro?
Denied.
Okay. No, and that's great. And I like that we are exploring a new side of you, even though, and like you don't need to ride that very, very small tricycle around while we record.
Oh, so if I don't conform and like have like just a normal mountain bike, that's what it's not good enough for you because it has to meet some sort of like arbitrary standards that are just social constructs and have like no point like whatsoever. Like, I'm not on I don't even know a brand of bike. Who knows brands of bikes? How pathetic would you have to be to know a brand of a bike?
Well, why are you riding a bike right now? I guess is really any kind of bike. I don't really see, because we're just recording a podcast.
maybe that's what you're doing, man, but I'm just trying to like not do anything because everything is pointless.
Well, so that's our producer Cameron. Also with us is Digital in the house. Digital in the house.
Entertaining, masking people's pain, real messed up stuff that's going on in this world.
You don't need to
make a balloon animal.
You've got pizzazz.
Get on my back.
Full clown attire.
Full clown attire.
That's what entertainment is, man.
Full clown attire.
That's what entertainment is, man.
And later, Cameron tells him that we can expect a special guest sponsor.
Yeah, I mean,
Wow.
I guess.
Yeah, so look forward to
I guess
that.
it's special if you're comparing, pointless thing next to another pointless thing. Then yeah, maybe sure it's special. I guess.
In this instance, with relative to your current worldview, yeah, I guess I am. But before we move on, I would like to address a bit of listener feedback. I found this note written on the paper mache that was wrapped around my torso when I woke up this morning. The note reads, quote, "I heard you lost 2 fingers at the river. Are you feeling better?" End quote. So first of all, thank you for asking that question to the Jock podcast. To answer your question, okay, well, actually, I just don't understand how I was paper-mache'd without my knowledge or consent overnight while I was asleep. There was no sign of forced entry. Because I woke up like that, and because paper mache, it starts out wet,
So
right?
you can just like wake up however you want, and that's fine. But like when I wake up like this, and this is who I am now, you can't get off my back about it.
Well, it looks like you didn't wake up. Like it looks
Get
like
off my
that
back about it.
took a lot of work.
Get
Okay,
off my back about it.
Okay, so to answer this listener's question, as for my 2 fingers, it turns out that I didn't lose them. They were just covered up by a blanket. So this is actually an example of how the more likely answer often is the right answer.
I got rid of my blankets, all of them.
Say what? Okay.
First
and
of
that
all, they weren't a dark color at all. They were really bright. And second of all, why, I'm just gonna lay in bed with blankets and stuff, and there's people in this world who don't even have, they can't even buy a shoes, and I'm supposed to just be like, oh, okay, yeah, this is fine. This blanket is probably produced in a factory, and I'm just supposed to be like, oh, okay. No, I'd rather just sleep in the cold because who cares? What's the point? It's actually, honestly, it's more comforting for me to sit there without a blanket and it'd be cold.
Yeah, because I guess you only have your carnival tent at this point.
Yeah, and it's not even a tent because I can't keep it on the ground. So it's kind of more like an umbrella, technically, I guess, right?
I'm not really familiar enough to, you're the goth, so I guess you would know more about clown tents than I would, or circus tents.
Yeah, I'm just saying, if a tent that's not on the ground and is being suspended above the ground is essentially an umbrella.
Okay, yeah.
An umbrella is just a tent that is in the sky.
Okay. Okay, I guess that's maybe that's insightful. I'm not. Anyway, to this listener, thank you for listening. Now for today's medical topic, Churg-Strauss Syndrome. Churg-Strauss Syndrome is a granulomatous vasculitis that is seen in patients with asthma. The itis in that, vasculitis, it indicates inflammation. So this condition involves an inflammation of blood vessels. The way I remember the name Churg-Strauss Syndrome is that an asthmatic patient, they'll sometimes describe their condition as feeling like breathing through a straw. So Churg-Strauss Syndrome, in my mind, sounds kind of like chugging a straw. So Churg-Strauss syndrome typically presents with pulmonary infiltrates, rash, and eosinophilia. And of course, eosinophilia refers to an increased number of immune cells called eosinophils.
And I mean, like, all this stuff that you're even, like, talking about, it's just like, this is what life is just disease. And you said rashes and straws, having to drink through a straw. And so it's kind of like, what, like, I don't even understand the point of trying to be a doctor. Why not? You know what would help a patient more than being treated? Is they go into the doctor's office and they're like, oh, my stomach hurts so much. And you tell them, yeah, man, life's not fair. And like be real with, actually be real with them. None of my doctors have ever been like real with me. You know what I mean?
Well, have they just given you the actual prognosis?
Yeah, they just tell me like you have like mouth and foot syndrome, like your mouth is stuck in your foot, and I'm like, okay, but what, like, I'm not even talking about that. What about like actually being real with me, like as a person? You know what I mean?
Okay, so you're just wanting more holistic medicine, is what you're referring to, and that does depend on the doctor.
Whatever.
Some of them,
whatever. I don't care.
Okay.
You're the pawn,
okay.
Not me.
All right, well, so systemic vasculitis may result in skin, muscle, and nerve lesions. It is also associated with the paranuclear antineutrophilic cytoplasmic antibody, otherwise known as p-ANCA or MPO-ANCA, and treatment is with systemic glucocorticoids. All right, Cameron, you said that we have a guest sponsor today?
So y'all know how the Bone Garden is failing? I'm only having first-time visitors.
Yeah, that's
right, folks. Our guest is Sheila Dawn. Hey, Sheila.
Okay.
So things are changing.
I'm sorry.
You know, the pandemic has been a little bit crazy of a time.
Probably tough on business.
Yeah, because, a lot of my business is based off of traveling, and people are not too thrilled with, traveling around state to state, city to city, person to person. People aren't too thrilled with that right now. So what
sharing
we've
drinks
decided,
with each other.
Singing loud bar songs together, holding hands.
Before you introduce whatever you're about to introduce, we need to introduce you because you've had kind of a history on the show.
Yes.
Well, if you feel it's necessary, sure.
So this is Sheila Dawn, who first came to us to promote her roadkill meat sales.
Yes.
She would grill up the meat and sell it.
She was making a sort of jerky type meal out of animals that she found on the side of the road. I think roadkill is maybe a bit of a judgmental phrasing. It's found food. Found meat.
That's the new trend, is like scavenged food.
Exactly, yeah.
Foraging.
So,
that's a big popular thing nowadays.
She had that business. And then I think the last time she was on, she talked about how she had expanded it to, she had all these bones left over from that. Mm-hmm. So she opened up this bone garden. And if I remember correctly, she would only have one visitor at each time, which it sounds like it's still the same problem, because she would kill them whenever they entered the bone garden.
Well, they would die.
They would never leave the bone garden.
Yeah,
Everyone who
I think
came
placing blame is maybe again, you're just being really judgmental towards our guest, Dr. London. Sheila, I am so sorry.
I don't really even hear Dr. London anymore, so I'm kind of just waiting for, whenever his lips stop moving.
Yeah, it's best to just zone him out.
I don't understand half the words he's saying anyway, so it's fine.
It's usually no and stop that and get out of there.
Right.
Those are most of the things that he's saying.
Why did you trick me into eating this?
Yeah.
I didn't want to eat monkeys.
Yeah.
Rare monkeys. So, yeah. I mean, I just can't. I'm
What's
done.
that smell? I've never smelled anything like it.
Yeah,
And-
so all this, I can't hear him anymore.
But in any case,
The last time Sheila Dawn came on, believe it was very focused on a specific animal, which was the hunt for the Easter Bunny. And there was a very complicated plan to hunt down the Easter Bunny, which, I don't know, it didn't really make sense to me. Anyway, we can... just wanted to let the listeners know, and they can go back and listen to one of these episodes if they want to. But here is Sheila Dawn.
Is he done?
oh, yeah, I'm so sorry. I should probably tell you when he starts talking and stops talking. Yeah, he said a bunch of stuff. He was telling our audience about the whole Easter Bunny thing. But yeah, he's done. We want to hear from you, Sheila. Why are you here today?
Like I said, the pandemic has just kind of been not too nice to, people who live my type of lifestyle traveling around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But there is kind of a silver lining, and that is that, me and Ron, we are tired of burning up the roads.
Wow. Where are you guys going to go?
We've got our trailer. We've got our deep freezer. So we've parked it in the parking lot of our new business endeavor, and that is the Meat Shack / Sassy Country Boutique.
Come on down to Sheila Dawn's Sassy Country Boutique.
Oh.
I'm sorry, just one moment. You mentioned Ron. Could you remind me who Ron is? Someone you're working with?
Is he done?
I keep forgetting that you can't hear him. Yeah, he wants to know who is Ron.
Well, Cameron, you know Ron. He's with me when I'm picking up my monkey meat.
Oh, yeah.
My husband, Ron. Well, you probably
Ron.
think he's.
Oh.
You probably think he's my son because he's only 4'11".
Well, yeah, and I call him old Ronnie.
Yeah.
Old little Ronnie, yeah.
But in any case, so you've got this new place. It's like the
Meat
Shack
Boutique.
/ what? How did you describe it? Country Girl Boutique.
Sassy Country Boutique.
Sassy Country Boutique. Well, that sounds amazing. What is?
If you've got long bangs and the back of your hair is short, you're gonna love Sheila Dawn's Meat Shack and Sassy Boutique.
I mean, can you give me a preview of what I'm like? Let's say
When I walk in,
I'm there on a Sunday afternoon, and
You're
I
gonna want to
walk
walk in. You're gonna want to sit down. You're gonna want to eat what's placed in front of you, and you're gonna not want to ask what it is. And you probably shouldn't really investigate too closely about what it is, or kind of sniff around, or just kind of eat it. Okay, just put it in your mouth and swallow it. Okay, that's what it is, and that's what's gonna be.
Yep. What's the boutique part of it?
So the boutique is just kind of my leftover skins that I've just kind of made. I've got a little area for masks and stuff, and
So wait. You're using animal skins to make like COVID masks?
right, masks, boots, bedazzled tops, long sandals. Yeah, I mean we've got everything. Yeah.
That does sound like everything. That sounds like everything I would want if I was at a meat shack for sure.
so historically, I rarely, I've never been to a place that labeled itself as a meat shack. Is this the same sort of roadkill meat that you've peddled elsewhere, or is this something new?
So Dr. London is wanting to know if the meat that you're, serving, how do I say this in a less rude way than he said it? Is it found foraged meat from the side of the road similar to your previous endeavors? Or is this something else?
Well, like I said, a big part of this is don't ask what kind of meat it is. Don't look at it too closely. Don't really smell of it too much. Just come in and sit down and put the meat in your mouth and swallow it.
On all your promotional material, it even says, kind of in big letters,
Do not ask.
Don't ask about it. Don't think about it too hard. definitely don't sniff it.
Just eat
When
it.
the definitely is underlined twice. Just eat it. Okay.
Sheila's Meat Shack, just eat it.
I do appreciate this kind of attitude in this sort of current climate and our current, instant gratification culture. Everyone's got a Yelp review, right? Like everyone goes to the bank and they're like, 2 stars, ATM was too slow. And it's like, hey, why don't you actually be happy with what's being given to you? Here's a plate of something that stinks like hell and definitely shouldn't be that color. Why are you questioning it?
Well, my first problem with that is how do you even know what it smells like if one of the rules is don't be smelling around?
Exactly. You shouldn't even be sniffing it in the first place.
Yeah, so
And I think if we can all respect those rules, and we've been talking a lot lately about all these people don't want to respect rules of the establishment. They go to a place that says, hey, put a mask on, and they're saying, no, I don't want to. But guys, can we not honor the request of the establishment? In this case, don't look at it too hard. Keep your face away from it. Don't touch it with your skin.
Put it in your mouth and eat it.
Put it in your mouth and eat it.
I mean, I'm totally fine if you don't want to wear shoes, if you don't want to wear a shirt. I mean, we offer service for that. But if you're going to be investigating too close, if you're going to be asking too many questions, that's where we draw the line. So, I mean, the
If you're
rules are a little
tasting
bit
the
different.
food too much instead of just trying to shove it down your throat past your tongue.
Right, that's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
And Ron's not going to let you stick around, so...
When,
wow. What?
And when you say that, you draw the line here, Lil Old, or is it Old Lil Ron or Lil Old? I think it's Old Lil Ron.
Yes.
That he'll take care of it. Is there a threat implied there?
Yeah. What does that mean when Lil old Ronnie is gonna take care of you and not gonna let you poke around too much? Is this a threat? Is he gonna?
Well, I mean, my Rondon, he's my knight in shining armor,
Okay.
He's not gonna
Oh, that's so cute.
really like if people are talking down on Sheila's. So the second he hears something, he's gonna walk over with his little steel-toed boots, and he's just gonna kind of tap, 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 tap
Tap.
until you leave.
Tap your toe.
Is that like a?
Is that tapping on your toes? Is that why you're encouraging people to not wear shoes? So you can kind of like stomp on them a little bit with these steel-toed boots?
Well, I mean, the culture of our restaurant, lends to that, yeah. We kind of worked ourselves into this angle so that we can just kind of fly under the radar.
Yeah, that completely makes sense to me.
That's a big part of the Meat Shack / Sassy Country Boutique. Okay? If you've got kids named Tatum, Peyton, you're going to love this Sassy Country Boutique, let me tell you.
Do you mean like that you have nameplates there for those names? Is that what you mean, or
Definitely little magnets, little,
Oh, you heard that question.
Well, money talks.
Oh, okay, because it's about the business and making that sweet moolah. Suddenly your ears perk up. I get that. I respect that. You're an entrepreneur.
I'm a big dog.
You're a big dog.
so? You said you sell nameplates for Peyton and who was the other one?
Tatum.
Tatum. And so you have those 2 nameplates.
Mason. Brixley. That type of thing.
Braxton.
Kylie, Kim, Chloe. I've got skin nameplates. I've got, they're made out of, different skins. I've got skin jewelry. I've got skin hats.
You seem to have a very specific clientele in mind, right? Like you're talking about they have bangs and short hair in the back and love like sequins. Who are you like trying to appeal to? Like what kind of person?
Well, I don't want to get too specific because I don't want to narrow down my business to just one type of person. But I do know that I do have a genre that does like the type of things that I sell. So, of course, they know who they are.
And who?
You mean a demographic.
And how would you describe those people more? You've
I've
already
got,
described them.
leather child pageant dresses. I've got
And this isn't like black
leather
this
tiaras.
is tan, brown
a lot
leather.
of leather beauty pageant stuff.
Freshly tanned skins.
You know, just the type of stuff that my type of people like. That's all that I really need to say about that.
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, it sounds like you've got something figured out. I mean, are you guys successful? Are you making money
Well,
off
we're
this?
just getting started, you know. We kind of had a grieving period of saying goodbye to our long time of, you know, tearing up the roads. But
Yeah.
you know, it gets to a point.
Because before it was more of like a food truck, right?
Right. It was gathering food directly and just hunking it into the deep fryer and just passing it out. I mean, it was a jubilee.
Yeah.
Years of jubilee looking back.
When did you open up?
We kind of just started within the last month. Yeah, our grand opening's next week. So we've been working hard this last month. I mean, we're ready.
Wow. Yeah.
And so
So-
when you come, we're right next to this really beautiful kind of garden. It's very interesting, very intricate, and just for walking in the door of the meat shack, you get a half-off admission to the garden.
Oh no.
I mean, that sounds like a huge appeal to me. I mean, your
Because
famous
there's so
garden.
much to do in one area. Get something to
Yeah.
eat. Get an
shop
outfit.
at the boutique.
Yeah, and then go to your eternal bliss, you know?
When you say that you have a garden, you aren't referring to your bone garden, are you?
Dr. London wants to know, when you're talking about your garden, are you talking about the bone garden that we've discussed earlier?
Oh, yeah, I'm talking about, the bone garden, it's a great place.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I thought that was obvious. I don't know why I repeated that to Dr. London, or repeated what Dr. London said, because it was already clear. But, I mean, honestly, this sounds great to me. Dr. London, do you have any objections to this? I don't understand. You seem real hesitant to get involved here.
Yeah, well, for one thing, it's the very first thing that Sheila said on this episode was that she has the problem of only one person, or like people only come to the bone garden once.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this is a problem that she's had from the beginning, because people die when they enter that place. They can only enter once.
So
and then
you're
there's
saying
no
that
exit
would
for them.
affect the business for the meat shack as well. I see. I understand that.
Well, I'm saying more the murder. The murder's the bad part.
Sheila,
there.
what Dr. London's wondering is, before you've had issues in that a lot of the people who visited your bone garden in the past could only visit once, right? You didn't have many return guests. So
correct.
wouldn't encouraging your guests at the meat shack, wouldn't you run into the same problem? I mean, you're going to want repeat customers at the meat shack, right?
Well, I guess that's secondary. Really, the bone garden's been and will always be my main focus. So the meat shack is kind of just a stop on the way, if you will.
So, I mean, this is kind of interesting, because before you were talking about your food truck, and, you know, you would come across found food, and then you'd huck it in the back. But now you guys aren't driving around. You're not moving around. So you're probably not running into a lot of animals that you find, right? So are you harvesting the meat that you're serving from the bone garden? Do your customers become...
It's not me asking.
No, that was me.
I'm sorry, what was that, Dr. London?
So
Oh, I'm being ignored now.
Yes.
okay.
I
So-
think I got too close to the... Okay. Wow,
So-
this does not feel good.
So to repeat Cameron's question, which is a question of my own, and
Wow,
to
this
put it more
doesn't feel
simply, I
good.
think, is the meat shack, the meat from there, does that come from the flesh of those who have entered your bone garden.
Do people who eat there become the future meal? You have to repeat that to her, Dr. London. She's not gonna.
Oh, sorry. Do people who eat there become the future meal?
Well, there is a cycle to life.
Yes.
Can you say that you're your future meal if, the bacteria that's eating you grows something new and, you use that to make something that fuels you? This world is an ecosystem, and this, cycle of life, it's really amazing.
That is really amazing. And, now that I think about it, they say that every cell in your body changes over every 7 years, right? Like you're an entirely new human every 7 years. And so, yeah, maybe I'm shedding skin cells or whatever, but what if my chemical makeup that makes me, instead of turning into something similar to me, instead turns into a, like a chicken fried steak type meal?
Okay, so
isn't that
here's
still
the problem I'm
me?
seeing.
Is that just a new version of me, Dr. London? This is incredible.
Here's the issue I'm seeing, is that Sheila Dawn seems to have avoided answering the question directly, which was, to put it more simply, the question's really, is she feeding human flesh from those who enter her bone garden? Is she feeding that to patrons of her restaurant, the meat shack? And the fact that she's dodging the question does make me suspicious that perhaps the
I'm
answer
not dodging
isn't-
anything. You are what you eat. I'll leave it at that.
Damn, Dr. London.
Denied.
You got schooled.
Yes.
I feel like I'm not.
Oh my gosh. Dude, you got schooled.
That's not the impression that I got there. I feel like she just
Sheila.
dodged the question again.
Man, Sheila, you are awesome. So, can I get a little bit more of that, though?
Oh, definitely. I brought this on as promotional. I thought you guys would fall in love with this food that you don't really look at, that you don't
Just try to
smell
swallow as
or
quickly as
just-
possible. Yeah.
Yeah, here's some water. You could
Okay, I didn't-
probably just, if you just kind of swallow
give me
it
some of
down
that.
with the water.
Why
there.
is it? That's a lot of things floating in that water.
Okay. I'm trying to eat it as fast as I can. Okay.
Okay. Well, I can smell it coming. I didn't mean to.
Close it. I'm trying to close the container so you can't smell it. We're not supposed to smell it. Okay.
Now, isn't there
sealed
something
it.
in your
That is a
stomach?
strong
I
stench.
sealed it up. But there's something in my stomach, and I feel like a stronger man because of it.
Okay, let me take a picture and then I'm going to put it on the Facebook. I'm going to say, he just ate it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. All right, that's going to look good. Can I tag you?
Yeah, sure. I'm listed on there as Dr. London Smith.
All right.
Oh,
And I'm going to put on here about if you come in, you immediately get a free ticket to the Bone Garden, because that's a draw. For
Wow,
sure.
so it dropped from 50% off to now for free. This is a huge deal. Our listeners need to take advantage of this.
Well, just Saturday.
Just Saturday. Just Saturday they can get
Okay.
in free if they buy a meal, and if they buy, I don't know, what's another kind of item that might be in your boutique shop?
Probably a skin outfit. I'd say.
Okay, that does bring up a question.
What question you got?
So, you said a skin outfit. What I'm wondering is, you've kind of dodged the question of, is it human meat being served to people? I'm wondering, is it human skin that's being sold to people?
No, it is not human skin.
Okay.
It's just like
I mean, that's,
Okay.
rats and illegal monkeys that I got from Cameron.
Yep, we trade them.
Okay, so this is you already have a surplus of those because of Cameron's side illegal exotic animal.
I mean, you throw
And
around
very
all
common.
these, you throw around all these assumptions about me because I'm Southern. I know, I can tell. And you don't
Well,
take
and the
into
murder.
account that I have plenty of vendors. Okay, Cameron's one of them. Do you know how many monkeys and giraffes and zebras he's got up in his attic right now? Enough to feed
No,
20 people for a year, okay? And they're mating. He doesn't even fix them because he knows.
Nope. Well, I do want to butt in here. So I forgot to let the exterminator know that they were up there. So currently I do have 0 living animals in my attic, but I definitely have 20 years of food in the freezer. Yeah.
yeah, and one other little point, so because you mentioned the rats, so Cameron has this odd thing of both heavy emphasis on his exotic creatures, but also heavy emphasis on vermin, the import and export of rats and
Hamsters.
yeah, and mostly rats. Honestly, it seems like, and I feel like my guess is there's not as much money in that.
Not as much money in what?
In rats, like as opposed to a giraffe or something. Like, are you just saving them up in case there's a market for it?
Oh, you're talking to me?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm not even worried about that part yet. So I don't think that far ahead. I get where you're coming from. You're a planner. You're a guy who has to have you start Monday morning by saying, what am I going to do every second of every day this week? Let me make all of my meals right now and then just split them up. Nah, man, I live in the moment.
I bet he meal preps. I bet he eats
I
brown
know.
rice.
I know he eats brown rice, and I
know
know
he
he
does.
meal preps.
I know he
And
does.
Dr. London, yeah, I've acquired a lot of rodents. What am I doing with them? I'll know in the moment.
Okay, it's just one of those things. If you had been acquiring them on their own, that would have been weird. But the fact that you were previously acquiring the very exotic animals, but you seem to be posting about each of them, each type, equally, like promoting them. So I wasn't sure. In any case, so now we have this meat shack and this bone garden still. And you said your problem.
What is your
Sheila,
problem with it? You keep coming back to it and keep being like, well, it's a huge problem. I know what you have a problem with. A woman who's created a successful business.
He's totally threatened by me.
You're
He's-
threatened by her.
Yeah, it's laughable. I mean, I do understand I'm a woman who's 6'7", okay? Mm-hmm. I understand that men sort of physically cower to me, as well as they just kind of lose their spirits around me because I just am such a massive, conquering woman, really.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it is.
well,
I mean,
the
how many...
amount of skins that you wear just normally.
If we were in
I
the
see you
old
have the giant.
times where, it was kind of like I was a Viking and I was covered in skins, you would not be like, oh, you're a weird person. You would be terrified. You would be
It'd
shaking
be like,
in your boots.
let me get out of the way for this warrior.
Right, but now because we live in these little snowflake times, everyone's like, oh, Sheila's so strange.
You walk around with one skin, and then suddenly you have a doctor being like, oh, but are you feeding people human meat? And it's like,
Oh my gosh.
go away.
Just move back to California where you came from, okay?
Yeah, it was just the fact that because you'll wear a giant sort of buffalo head covering and on top of that a lion's head covering, full skin, in the summertime too, to the stores or whatever, to markets.
I'm showing my many victories, all right?
Yeah. And like, I just find it to be...
You find it odd because you don't understand the warrior's mindset, and you don't understand the mindset of success.
He could never. That's why I mostly just block him out nowadays.
Yeah, there's no point in even listening to him. He refuses to acknowledge that, yeah, stacking a bunch of heads on top of your head might be an awesome power move. He doesn't want to admit that because then he loses. And that's all that doctors care about is winning.
We know that's right.
What plans do you have in the future? What's next for Sheila Dawn? Like, are you going to ever expand the restaurant, maybe kind of make a chain out of it? I mean, what are your future plans?
We'll just have to see how it goes. Right now, I'm just kind of slow down a little bit, enjoy my life with Rondon. We've been burning up the roads, and we're just getting kind of in our old age. And I've had many victories. I've conquered a lot of land that we're just kind of ready to build a city out of, build our own little utopia. So.
Oh.
Okay.
So wait, the eventual goal is to have sort of like your own utopian community?
Well, I don't really like to discuss my next moves. This is kind of a long-term thing, so I really don't.
Well, that's fine. I'm not sure that I particularly needed to know that anyway, so it's okay to not move into that. What we do need to do, though, we have some chores to do.
Why do you have to bring that up, Dr. London? Being such a party pooper. We're having a good time talking about this great new business, and now we got to do a bunch of chores. But you're right.
We've been putting it off.
I'm just taking out my frustration on you. You're right. I know you're right. For those who don't know, so for the last few weeks now, we've been trying to complete a chore every single week. We have all of these tasks on our to-do list, all of these chores that we need to get done. And so we're just trying to keep it simple, do one a week, get it out of the way, never think about it again. And so we've created this fun chore wheel that we're going to spin, and we're just going to do whatever's on it. So, DJ Dylan, can you go ahead and just spin that chore wheel?
Yes.
Okay, it landed on interrogate each other to establish alibis in the murder of Captain Floppy, which is, of course, is the celebrity fish.
Floppy.
I guess we can...
This was... let's explain. So the sheriff of the local sheriff has been kind of at his wit's end in this investigation.
So a very famous celebrity fish, Floppy the fish, unfortunately was murdered earlier in the year. And, Floppy was beloved by many, and he had his own TV shows and his own albums, #1 albums that gone platinum. And he, unfortunately, because of COVID, it's made investigations and interrogating people very, very difficult. And unfortunately, the three of us, me, Dr. London, and our guest Sheila Dawn, are kind of suspects in this case, which, I think it's kind of ridiculous, but we kind of are. And since the police can't interrogate us, they sent us a at-home interrogation kit, and we're going to interrogate each other, establish our alibi, and then send that back to them, and then we can be just done with it. Or, maybe not establish an alibi and maybe discover that one of us is guilty. If someone is, it's not me, but it could be the doctor. Anyway.
I'm just ready to get this over with. It's been hanging over our heads for too long.
I know. Okay. Let's get this over with. Yeah. I want to be done with it too.
Yeah, no,
How do we want to start?
I'm pretty sick of it. You want me to start?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Who are you interrogating?
Yeah. So I'll interrogate. You know what, Cameron? I'll interrogate you.
That's fine. I don't mind.
Yeah.
Nothing to hide.
No, and and just to start out, so you guys know, I'm actually innocent.
Well,
So I just want to establish that now.
and obviously I want to establish that I am innocent as well because I'm innocent, and I
Right.
can't necessarily trust what other people say, but I can trust that I'm innocent.
Right. Okay. And anyway, so okay, let me just read off the thing here. Okay, so
You're reading off the how
Cameron-
to interrogate cards
Yeah,
that are
yeah,
in the
so-
kit, the at-home kit.
yeah, first step, say hello. Hello.
Hey,
Okay, next card. Next.
man, when are you
step.
gonna let me go?
Okay, I'll skip a few. Okay, so what were you doing between 7 p.m. and 4:30 a.m. on the night of May 31st? Sorry, 31st,
Man, I
2020.
wasn't doing anything. I was just fishing.
You were fishing.
Yeah, that's it. I was just trying to catch some fish. That's it.
Did you succeed in catching a fish?
Nope, couldn't get a bite. Couldn't find a single fish. Nothing bit. Tried everything. Tried bobbers. Tried using other fish as bait. Tried using like cookies as bait. Tried shining a
And
flashlight
nothing.
on the fish, trying to make them think it was the sun, and then being like, jump into the sun, fish. And then I was gonna try to grab
Right.
them. Nothing worked.
Okay, so none of
That's
that
all I
worked.
did that whole time.
Okay. I guess that, and that was till 4:30 in the morning.
Yep.
You spent a full what 9.5 hours trying to fish.
I spent a lot more than that, but it includes those hours. Yeah.
All right, so yeah, I guess that's it. So I guess we've cleared Cameron's alibi. He has.
I'm innocent.
And can the fish vouch for you that's what you were doing, or
I
anyone?
think you could ask the fish, but you know they're liars. So, and they don't have
Okay.
great vision, so they might not have even seen me. So even if they didn't see me, that doesn't necessarily mean that I wasn't there. But even if they saw everyone else that was there, if there was like some other people there, you got to remember they're liars. Fish lie.
Okay. Okay. All right. Who's next?
I think I am going to interrogate Sheila.
Okay.
Because I got to be honest, I got some questions.
Okay.
Now, Sheila, you famously work a lot with animals, don't you?
Correct.
Now, I want to know, where were you on the night of May 31st? From, let's say, 7 p.m. to 5-ish a.m.?
Let me call Ron. Hold on.
Okay, yeah.
Hey,
This is fine, right?
Ron,
They can just make phone calls in the middle
do
of
you
interrogations.
remember when we went to Key
Yeah.
West? Right.
Wait.
Uh-huh.
Isn't that where Captain Floppy
We were on
lives?
the houseboat. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that was funny. Yeah. Well, baby, I love you too, Ron. Thanks for answering your phone. I'll talk to you later. Okay, sweetie. Okay, I love you. Okay, Ron said we've never been to Key West, so I cannot remember. I don't remember. May, you said
Right,
May.
but I didn't ask if you've been to Key West. I asked, where were you on May 31st?
Well, I know that I was not in Key West.
Can you remember at all what you were doing?
That's where
on
I
May?
thought that I was, so now that that's ruled out, I can't recall.
So, I mean, on May 31st, it's a Sunday. Nothing. You can't recall a single thing.
And you know this isn't good for you in an interrogation. Like it's better if you can have an alibi.
I would argue the opposite, that the fact that I am so nonchalant about this proves that I do not care enough to be worried, okay? So I would say it
That's
is my
true.
alibi that I don't remember and I don't care to remember and I don't know. I gave you the
And,
answer. I was
that
not in
is-
Key West, so
Okay, so you weren't in Key West, and honestly, I feel like if you did murder someone that day, you would remember it.
I'd remember
But
what
you-
I was doing.
You'd
right.
remember what you were doing that day, but you can't remember what you were doing that day, so there's no way that you could have been the murderer, right?
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking.
Let me ask. I'm going to ask one more question, and just be truthfully honest. I noticed you brought all these leather items from your boutique.
Right.
There's specifically over here a tiny leather captain's hat that says floppy kind of embroidered on it. What is where did this come from? What's that about?
Probably just came from the gift shop. I don't know.
It probably came from your own gift shop that you own,
I guess.
but you don't know.
Now, it doesn't look familiar. Is there a SKU number on it? I have a very specific SKU number system. So if it has a SKU number on it that matches my system, then yeah, it's from my gift shop.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's a solid answer. I can't. Dr. London, looks like you have something to say.
Given that Sheila has such a murderous history in general, and that she has
There he goes again,
Personal
throwing
possessions.
around assumptions about me because I'm Southern.
Yeah, I think this is
But she
libel,
is-
Dr. London. You can't be saying such definitive things like this.
I mean, keep going, Dr. London. You are only giving me more fodder, let me tell you.
Yeah, you're just increasing the amount of money we're going to have to give her when she sues us.
I've got my lawyers
So
on
she-
lock.
She also has in her gift shop a captain's hat with the embroidered name of the victim in question, that she cannot she can't say where that came from, and
I'm going to text
I mean,
Ron.
to me, this tells me
I think
that
I've heard enough.
I think I've heard enough. I think Sheila must be innocent. Again, I have to go back to the fact that if she did something wrong, she would remember it.
Correct.
Okay, Sheila, let me. DJ Dylan, can you give me like some sort of sound effect that identifies that she's innocent?
Yes.
Thank
All right.
you.
Okay.
So now, I guess the only thing we have left to do is, Sheila, you're going to interrogate our own Dr. London. I can't wait to see this.
I can't help
Finally,
but
this
feel
guy's
like
getting questioned.
I see the beads of
foreboding
sweat
No more secrets.
coming down your forehead, Dr. London. I'm going to get you. Do you see this line on my head?
Yeah.
Do you see the bull's head on that lion's head? I'm going to get you, Dr. London.
Okay.
Are you quivering in
now
your
or-
boots yet?
No. These are
Gotcha.
these are Converses.
Dr. London, I've only got one question to ask you.
Okay.
Have you ever been to Key West, Florida? Have you ever had lunch at Margaritaville?
Yes. Are you doing the event? Because I thought the one question would be like, what was I doing on May 31st between 7 p.m. and 4:30 a.m.? Is that not?
What?
Is that not
Wait,
entering into?
why are you avoiding the question this hard?
No, I said yes.
Stop trying to avoid the question. Have you had lunch there?
Yes.
Well, I'm ready to call it. I mean, it's clear as day that London is guilty.
Yeah,
He
I mean,
said he had
honestly-
lunch at Margaritaville in Key West. What more do we need to know?
Yeah, I mean, we know you haven't been to Key West. And we know that I haven't been to Key West because they won't let me back there.
So you have been to Key West then?
So what I did was while flying over Key West. And so to say I've been there would be wrong, but I am banned there. Banned from going there. Does that make any
from
sense?
flying over or from visiting by land?
All of it.
Okay, so they'll just flag you no matter what.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so you have been over Key West.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you avoiding the question of where
why
you
are you
were
avoiding the question?
May
Where were you?
30th,
I feel like
2020?
I feel like I answered. So could I give the answer to
That's
what
what
was
I'm
I
asking.
doing on that?
That's what Sheila Dawn just asked.
I'm sorry. Maybe that's my fault. I didn't hear that, like the question. So what was I doing on May 31st from 7 p.m. to 4:30 a.m.?
How do you know the time and date?
So
Gotcha.
I have the same interrogation cards that you do.
You got
We were all given
gotcha.
these. Do you want me to? Because I do have an answer. Do you want me to?
Fine.
Okay.
Spill your little lies.
I-
Go ahead.
Well, so at 7, I was about to go stargazing. Like we were having a meal. Me meaning the it was sort of a tea party that we were having. Me and my stuffed animals, and so we were all sipping on tea. Theirs was actual tea. Mine, I wanted it to be a little stronger, so my drink wasn't exactly tea. Well, it was a hot toddy, so kind of tea. So anyway, we were just having a tea party, and then as the night grew on, then I was like, well, I'm gonna kind of see you guys later because I have a thing. And they were like, oh, what's the thing? And I'm like, oh, great. Okay. Well, I don't want to, because I wanted to go stargazing by myself. And I don't want to say that they can't join me. So, Miss Penelope and Mr. Donkey Man and
Mr. Floppy.
the lion. Yeah. No, that's a celebrity.
He said yes.
He said yes.
So,
do we got that on
Captain
tape,
Floppy.
DJ Dylan?
Yes.
Yeah, he's a captain, but you can also call him Mister. I think that's appropriate.
in any case, I left them, and I have witnesses because everyone else at that tea party. And so then I left them and drove it was 4-hour drive to my favorite tree. And the reason it's my favorite is because there's a branch that goes out pretty far that you can kind of balance on, sort of. Like you're really balancing the whole time, and it's kind of rickety. But if you do that, you can peek out through, like, there's this tiny little sliver of the tree where you can see
What
through.
the hell is
and-
he talking about?
I don't know.
And see the stars.
Hey, what direction when you drove 4 hours? Were you driving east or west?
No, it's north.
Yeah, but northeast or northwest?
Northeast.
Yeah, northeast, where Key West, Florida is, Dr. London.
Like from Cuba or
Exactly.
No, I was-
where the
when
studio
I was
is.
driving.
I love all the 1950s cars here.
I know. I love it.
It's always such a treat every time we come to record the podcast and we get to take a 1950s car.
Yeah. Well, so it sounds like
So it
like, in
sounds
my
like we
opinion-
know that Dr. London killed Captain Floppy. And we're just
Oh,
going to
wait.
send this tape.
I just got a text from Ron, and he looked through the Bone Garden admissions, and Mr. Floppy bought a ticket on May 31st. So he's no longer with us in a physical sense, but his soul and his spirit have transcended into a new way of life for him. So we should really be grateful and happy.
No harm, no foul. It sounds like everything's in order. I mean, he bought the ticket, so it doesn't
Right.
sound like anyone murdered him. It's part of the experience.
well, that sounds like Sheila Dawn murdered him.
That's part. He bought a ticket, though.
He transcended into a new ecosystem.
Of
So
the afterlife.
You know what? I still think Dr. London did it, even as you said that. Something about it just.
it's because he dissected so many things, and you
I
knew that
know.
he just enjoyed it. on like a creepy level, you know.
Let's
It's just like a vibe it gives off.
Let's just give this tape and our what we've written down to the coppers, and they can decide, how long Dr. London's going to go away. So let's go
my
ahead and
lawyers have been listening in this whole time, and they've been on constant communication with the police, so I'm sure they're already on their way.
Perfect. Okay, great. So, Dr. London, I guess, do you want to kind of go pack your things, or do they let you bring your stuff into prison? I don't know how that works.
I don't think that I'm headed to prison. In any case, I guess we could just kind of wrap it up. So, all right, thank you to Sheila Dawn for coming by the show again. And Cameron, if you could warn me next time, just because I don't want...
Why are you asking Cameron for a warning?
Honestly, man, I should give you a warning like anytime anyone wants to do anything, because it's like pointless. You know what I mean? So like, here's your warning, dude. Like, it's all garbage, man. You know what I mean? Because I think you've forgotten that I'm goth now. Cameron's goth now.
Well, yeah. No, I remember, and I see all the bright colors, and
yeah. But they're darker than normal, so that's goth.
Yeah, just slightly, but like alternating and very bright.
No, the effect is striking.
Also,
I will say, I noticed right away that you had gone goth, but I didn't think that it was polite to say anything. But now that you're kind of bringing it up, yeah. No, the effect is striking. Going a little darker red. Yeah, bringing out some different hues, definitely.
I would appreciate that, like, and that would be awesome, but like if I cared about anything at all.
Right, under different circumstances. So like
right now, it's just like, it's just kind of like, it's not bad that you said that, but it's not good either. It's just like a thing.
It just doesn't matter, yeah.
It's just random and pointless, like the world.
Oh, that's great. So,
and that could be said for this whole podcast, really.
I mean, that's kind of the basis for the whole podcast, and I think that's why it was so easy for me to embrace like this kind of darker side to myself, where like I'm goth, and like I have, like you can see, like, I mean, it's a red nail polish, but like you could imagine if it was like black or something, how cool that would be, which I don't care about.
So I guess we'll go ahead and end it there. So
yeah, sure, whatever.
Thank you.
I don't care. I don't care when you end it.
Well, neither do I.
Thank you, Sheila Dawn, for coming on the show. Thank you to our producer, Cameron.
Yeah, whatever. I don't...
Thank you to Digital in the House.
Digital in the House.
I see the beads of sweat coming down your forehead, Dr. London. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you, Dr. London. Get you. I'ma get you. I'ma get you. I'ma get you, Dr. London.
My name is Dr. LondonSmith.com, and this has been the Jock Doc Podcast. See ya, I guess.
Your teeth grind down on another bite. You wish that there was a crunch or any sensation of texture, really, but you are unfortunately not the one making the diet selections here. You were always told to clean your plate when you were growing up, but surely this is beyond the level of reason. You start to lift your head up from the grass, but the pressure from the boot on the back of your head only increases, and you begin eating again. One of these days, you will have to stop accepting dares from bullies. Nevertheless, you gave your word. This is about character. To prove your worth as an honest person, you will eat all of the planet Earth, starting with the grass. And then this dumb bully will be the one looking like a fool. You smile a grass-filled smile to yourself, beaming at the honorable person you have become. and will become. Speaking of being an honorable person, don't forget to leave a 5-star review of the Jock podcast, in which you share the links to which you have gone to prove to mean bullies that you are a good person. And consider supporting us by becoming a patron on the Jock podcast Patreon. And while you're at it, go ahead and share the Jock podcast with a friend or foe. You can send them a link to your favorite episode, or just send them our handy website, jockdogpodcast.com. And don't forget to take a peek at our posts on social media. We are at Jock Podcast. Thanks for listening.